Hello everyone, Debashish from Dev's Learning Hub. So again we are going to continue in today's discussion about the coordinate geometry. So already we have covered quite a few topics on coordinate geometry. 3 classes I have taken. This is the 4th class. In this class also I am going to cover quite a few important topics from where the exam questions are very common, right? So you understand the concept as well as I will give the examples so that it will be easier for you to relate, and few of the cases even I will derive the formula like other videos too. Okay, so what I am going to cover today, section formula, and also one more topic which is beyond section also. Section formula, what I am going to cover: internal section formula, external section formula. So when a point is dividing a line segment internally, then how to find out the coordinate of that point. When the point is dividing the extended portion of the line segment, that is externally, then also how to find out the coordinate of that point, that is external section formula. Then condition for collinearity of 3 points, we know we need 2 points minimum to draw straight line. Now we need to understand, given 3 points, whether these are collinear or not. So what is the condition of collinearity for 3 points, that we will see. And then if 2 lines intersect each other, what is the intersecting angle? So how to derive the formula, and also we will do examples. So for all the cases, all the above 4 cases, we will do cover up few of the examples. So this is a very important class where we will cover quite a significant number of topics, and also we will utilize your previous knowledge what we have covered already in previous 3 videos, 3 classes. So what I suggest, before looking into this video, it's better for you to look into my earlier videos also, class 1, 2 and 3 on coordinate geometry, and for what the link is given in the description section below for this particular video. So look into the description section for this particular video and you will find all the 3 classes, link for 3 classes. So that will be very good, because if I am going to cover up hardly 1 or more 2 classes for coordinate geometry, which will cover the entire coordinate geometry, all the topics in your syllabus. So if you look into these 5 or 6 videos altogether for coordinate geometry, you will have the fundamental concept of all the topics about coordinate geometry, as well as your all the topics. Those are very much important with respect to your exam, right? Okay, so let's start. Okay, so now I will explain both internal section formula and external section formula together. 1 and 2, these 2 topics I will cover together so that it will be easier for you to relate and understand, right? So left side, it is internal section. How the diagram looks like: let's say the line segment, in the line segment P and R, these 2 are 2 extreme points in the line segment, right? So coordinate of P, that is given x1 y1, coordinate of R, that is also given x2 y2. The point in between P and R on the line Q, which has divided the line segment PR into 2 segments. What are the segments? PQ and QR. Now in which ratio the segment is has been created? Q is located in such a way on the line so that PQ is to QR equals to M1 is to M2. So in the picture, if you see P2Q M1 and Q2R M2, don't get confused. This M1 and M2, this is not the distance or length of PQ or QR. I have drawn like this to make you understand that which portion is M1, which portion is M2. This is the ratio. That means PQ is to QR PQ is to QR equals to M1 is to M1, all a suffix is to M2. Then what will be the coordinate of P, that is xy? The formula is x equals to M1 into x2. Coordinate of M1 is bit for PQ, right? So you remember the formula like this. This is a trick. M1 will be associated with coordinate of R. M2 will be associated with coordinate of P, right? So the rear one, just M1 is actually the ratio for PQ, but it will not be used for P, it will be for R. It will be associated with R. And M2 will be associated with the coordinate of P, right? Because M2 is associated with QR. So PQ is to QR equals to M1 is to M2. If that is the case, in that case, X will be M1 with X2, M1 X2 plus M2, that will come with X1, M2 X1 by M1 plus M2. So what is the trick? Ratio will be used with the rear one, right? Rear coordinate. So M1 with R, M2 with P, right? M1 X2 plus M2 X1 by M1 plus M2. What will be the Y coordinate for Q? That will be similarly M1 Y2 plus M2 Y1 by M1 plus M2. So this is what the formula. If a point having coordinate xy divide a line segment internally in the ratio M1 is to M2, so coordinate of that point will be M1 x2, x equals to M1 x2 plus M2 x1 by M1 plus M2, and Y coordinate will be M1 y2 plus M2 y1 by M1 plus M2. I will also derive the formula. How this formula has come, that also I will show you. First remember the formula. Now I will come to external section. So here you can see Q was in between PR. Here I have plotted Q outside extended portion of PR. So it has divided the extended portion in externally. So in that case P is x1 y1 as usual. Here also coordinate of R is also x2 y2, but the Q point has shifted. In this case it has divided the line segment externally, not internally. So it is not in between PR, it is beyond that point. Q could be this side, Q could be that side also, it doesn't matter, but it is not in between PR. So now if the M1 is to M2, here PQ was M1, QR was M2, here PQ is M1, so this is the range P to Q M1 and QR is M2. In that case, what will be the formula? So here what is the ratio? PQ is to, here also PQ is to QR, here also PQ is to QR, only the position of QR has been changed, right? So PQ is to QR equals to M1 is to M2. So in this case, for the external section, what will be the formula to find out the coordinate of Q, xy? So formula is x equals to, here it was M1 x2 plus M2 x1, here it will be M1 x2 minus M2 x1. Similarly, M1 is associated with P, so therefore it will go with x2, and M2 is associated with x2, so it will be going with x1. So M1 x2 minus M2 x1, here it was plus, that is the only difference, right? Here it was plus, both of these were plus. Here it will be then M1 minus M2. m1 is the bigger one, right? So m1 minus m2. Okay, and what will be y coordinate? Y coordinate also similarly m1 y2 minus m2 y1 by m1 minus m2. So this is what the formula for if the point has divided the line segment externally, then the coordinate is this, and if the line has been divided by the point internally, that means in between two given points, then m1 x, this is the formula. So this is what the formula. First you look into the formula, because this formula you need to remember, because a lot of times the problems will be given straight away you need, and this is very simple. If you understand the concept, just mind it. That is why I have told you the trick. m1, the ratio will be used with the rear coordinate, m1 x2 y2, m2 with x1 y1. Similarly here also m1 for p, because pq is m, right? Pq is to qr equals to m1 is to m2. So m1 will be used with the coordinate of r2, so m1 x2, and here it is m1 y2, and m2 will be used with coordinate of p, so m2 x1 and m2 y1, m2 x1, and here it is m2 y1. And for minus, it is m1 minus m2, because which one is the bigger one. Now I will also derive the formula for this one, and let's see if I can also have some time for this one also, right? Now we'll derive this formula. How to do that? So if you look into this graphical representation, so this is x-axis, y-axis, and this is the origin, right? So now here also the same thing what I explained just 2 minutes back. So P and R, these two are two extreme points for the line segment. Coordinate of P is x1 y1, coordinate of R is x2 y2. In between it is this PR is divided by point Q, where the coordinate I have assumed it is xy, right? Now you need to find out xy, and here PQ is to QR, that is m1 is to m2. So that is how I have represented graphically here. PQ m1, QR m2. Now the formula already you know. Now I will prove that formula. You need to derive the formula. What we will do? So from P we are drawing a parallel line to X, right? And from Q we are drawing a parallel line to Y, and these two intersects. Let's say this point is S, and similarly we'll also draw a parallel line of x-axis from point Q. This one we have drawn the parallel line from P, and this one will draw a parallel line from point Q of parallel of x-axis, and point R will draw parallel to y-axis, which is obviously perpendicular to this parallel to x-axis line, right? So this one, the intersecting point, let's say it is T, and the coordinate of T in that case what will be? The coordinate of T, since this point is, so Q, from Q we have drawn this parallel line of x, that means its coordinate will be, so the coordinate of T abscissa will be, x coordinate will be equal to the x coordinate of R, that is x2, when the y coordinate will be the y coordinate of point Q, because this is a parallel to x-axis, so x2y. What will be the coordinate of S? The coordinate of S for abscissa, it will be the same abscissa of Q, that is x, whereas the y coordinate will be the y coordinate of point P, because the PS is parallel to x-axis, so coordinate of y coordinate of P, that is y1. So now you got this coordinates of these new points S and T. Now we will compare these two triangles PSQ and QTR. Both these angles are 90 degree, because these two are, this is parallel to x-axis, this is parallel to y-axis, so almost it's a intersecting point of x and y-axis, so it should be 90 degree, it will be 90 degree, and here also similarly it will be 90 degree, right? So now we'll compare triangle PSQ. I am marking the letter angle S in between because this is 90 degrees. So PSQ and QTR, these two triangles will compare. So PSQ equals to QTR equals to 90 degree. Then, since these two are parallel lines, obviously these two angles are corresponding angles. These two angles are corresponding angles. That means QPS equals to RQT, because these two angles are corresponding angles. Now, if for these two triangles already you have seen two angles are equal, so obviously the third angle also will be equal. That means this PSQ and QTR, these two are similar triangle, equal in shape but may not in size, may not be in size, but similar triangle. So since these two triangles are similar, so as per the geometric properties for similar triangles, the similar sides, ratio of similar sides also should be equal, right? So if we take side QS from triangle PSQ, similar side is RT from triangle QTR. So QS is to RT equals to PS is to QT, PS is to QT equals to PQ is to QR, PQ is to QR. And what is the ratio? PQ is to QR, that is M1 is to M2. This is M1 is to M2. Okay, now we will first find out the x coordinate. Therefore, which one we will consider first? PS is to QT, this part, right? So PS is to QT equals to M1 is to M2. That means what is PS? Okay, so how we will find out the length of PS? PS equals to, if you draw perpendicular from here, from P perpendicular, from P, this is perpendicular, right? Now let's say if PS is equals to, let's say, and I am also drawing a perpendicular from here, right? Let's give the point names A, B, C. Okay, so perpendicular from P on x-axis, perpendicular which from Q, it is intersecting this parallel line at S and also intersecting the x-axis at B. Perpendicular from R, intersecting the parallel line from Q at T, and extended perpendicular on x-axis, it is intersecting at C. Now PS equals to what? How will you find out PS? PS means equals to AB. So PS equals to AB, PS equals to AB, and QT equals to BC. So AB by BC equals to M1 is to M2. Now if we see AB by BC, what is this? AB means OB minus OA. OB minus OA. So what is the coordinate of OB? OB is nothing but X and OA is nothing but X1. So OB minus OA by BC. BC equals to, what is BC? BC is OC minus OB. So OC minus OB. equals to m1 is to m2. Now you do this calculation. Just put the values. OB equals to x, abscissa of Q. OB equals to x and OA equals to abscissa of point P, x1. So x minus x1. X minus x1 by OC is abscissa of R, that is x2. So x2 minus x2 minus OB is x, x2 minus x. Okay, so now you write down the equation again here. So it is, if you cross multiply, then what will happen from here? M1 x2 minus M1 x equals to M2x minus M2x1. M1 x2 plus M2 x1 equals to, if you take the x common, that means x into M1 plus M2. So now how we'll find out x? The value of x will be, I can write down here, from here I can write down here, x equals to M1 x2 plus M2 x1 by M1 plus M2. So from this line it is proven. So this is what the formula of x, M1 x2 plus M2 x1 by M1 plus M2. Similarly you can do for y also, y coordinate also. How will you do that? Quickly I am just doing this. Now what we will do, we will take this part, qs by rt equals to m1 is to m2. qs by rt equals to m1 by m2, which is equivalent, qs means, just straight away I am doing it now, okay, because you understood the concept. So QS. So QS means actually you need to find out QB minus SB. QB minus SB. What is QB? QB the coordinate y-axis of y ordinate, because now we are finding out y. So we will consider the y part only. So QB minus BS. QB is y and BS is y1, because you have already identified the coordinate for S and T. So QS will be y minus y1. So y minus y1 by RT. RT is y2 minus y. y2 minus y. So now m1 by m2 equals to y minus y1 by y2 minus y1. So now what is coming? m1 y2 minus m1 y1 equals to m2y minus m2y1. So therefore m1 y2 plus m2 y1 equals to m1 y2. So it will be, sorry, it will be y2 minus y, because qt equals to, sorry, rt equals to y2 minus y, not y1, y2 minus y. So therefore it will be m1 y. It will be m1 y. Okay, so m1 y2 plus m2 y1 equals to, if you take common y, that is m1 plus m2. Okay, now y equals to m1 y2 plus m2 y1 by m1 plus m2. So here you can write down, from here y equals to m1 y2 plus m2 y1 by m1 plus m2. So the formula is proven. This is what the formula, and this is what the formula. This is proven with this. So that is how the formula has come, right? So for the external portion, you can try it out on your own. Similarly, it will come. Only the difference is, you know, m1x2 minus m2x1 by m1 minus m2. And similarly for y coordinate, m1 y2 minus m2 y1 by m1 minus m2. Okay. Now the third topic. So now you understand what is the formula. Just basically in the exam, no one will ask you to prove the formula, but still for your understanding, I have done so. Mostly it will be asked by just by you utilizing the formula, right? So you need to remember the formula, right? And condition for collinearity for 3 points. This is the third topic. It's very simple. Let's say there are, you know, to draw a straight line you need minimum 2 points. Here let's say there are 3 points. It is a straight line. This is 1 point. This is another point. This is another point. Now you can see this is on a straight line, right? Now let us prove that these 3 lines are on the same straight line, right? So let's say it is point A, B and C. So concept is, if A, B, C, all these 3 lines are on the same straight, all the 3 points are on the same straight line. That means if you take any 2 points, either AB or BC or AC, so AB, BC or AC, BC, whatever way, right? You need to consider the gradient or the slope. If the slope of the 2 lines, let's say the slope of AB, slope of AB. What will be slope of AB? Slope of AB, you know the formula. Already we did in the previous class, that is the third class. So look into that class, I have already done so. So the slope of AB will be the difference of y coordinate, y2 minus y1 by x2 minus x1. So slope of AB will be y1 minus y2 minus y1 by x2 minus x1. Slope of BC, that will be y3 minus y2 by x3 minus x2. When this slope of AB, y2 minus y1 by x2 minus x1, that is, let's say m1, and this one let's say m2. If m1 equals to m2, the value of m1 and m2 will be equal. In that case, these 3 points are collinear. If the slope is not equal, because when this is intersecting the axis, let's say point A, point B, point C, right? Passing a straight line, this is the inclination and this will be the slope. But if the point is here, it is not on the same line, the angle could be anything. It could be here, it could be here, whatever is the angle, right? But that means this point is not on the same line. But if this point is on the same line, wherever it is, so it is the point is on the same line, the slope will be always equal between 2 points. So all the points on a straight line will have equal slope. So 3 points, 4 points, 5 points, it doesn't matter, only 3 points. Because there are 5 points, 6, n number of points are there. For all the points on a straight line have the equal slope. So any 2 points, you will take 2 points and then you take one common point of this and another new point. So if that's how you need to compare the slope. Here we have considered A, B, and for the one B, C, B is common. What you can also consider AC and CB or BC. So whichever way, it doesn't matter. But the slope for all the pair of points will be equal. Any pair of points will be equal. Now so we'll find out the angle between two straight lines. What is the formula? First of all, you understand the formula, because the formula will be utilized in your problem sum. Nobody will ask you to derive the formula, but still I will quickly show you. Right? Given two straight lines, you are asked to find out the angle between intersection angle. That is the intersection angle that you need to find out. So first of all, let me tell you the formula, and then I will derive that formula. Okay? So if there is one line L1, red one, that is L1. This is creating angle, inclination is alpha with the positive direction of x. And another line L2, this is marked in blue, which is creating angle beta. This is the inclination is beta with the positive direction of x-axis. Now, what is the formula? Formula is, if the angle is theta, intersection angle is theta, because when two lines intersect each other, one angle will be acute angle, another angle will be obtuse angle. So whichever angle you are referring to, it doesn't matter, because one angle if you can find out, then another angle also you can find out by deducting it from 180 degree, 180 degree minus that angle, right? Slope of L1 equals to M1 equals to tan alpha, because alpha is the inclination, this is alpha. Then inclination of L2 is beta, so slope of L2 equals to M2, let's assume M2, that is equals to tan of beta, tan beta. So what will be tan theta? So tan theta will be, the formula is tan theta equals to M1 minus M2 by 1 plus M1 M2. This is what the formula, this is the relationship between the inclination angle and the gradient or slope of given two straight lines, right? So if you know the value of tan theta, if it comes within the table, you will have like this. Otherwise you can do theta equals to tan inverse this angle, right? Okay, this is what the formula. Now I will derive this formula. If you consider this triangle, let me put the name here, A, intersection point B, and intersecting point for x-axis for line L2 it is C, and intersecting point for L1 with x-axis it is A. So if you consider triangle ABC, in that case, as per the property, geometric property of triangle, the external angle, this is beta equals to the summation of rearmost two angles, right? So this angle, and this angle, these two angles you need to consider. Now if this is theta, that means this is also theta. Geometric property, you know that if there are two straight lines intersect each other, these two angles are equal and these two angles are opposite angles are equal, right? So in that case, beta equals to alpha plus theta. Okay, that means theta equals to alpha minus beta. Now if you do tan for both sides, right, you take tan, so tan theta equals to tan of alpha minus beta, which is equals to tan of A minus B, tan alpha minus tan beta, by 1 plus 1 plus tan alpha tan beta. Now you just give the values. Tan alpha means m1, so m1 minus m2, tan beta is m2 by 1 plus m1 m2. So this is what the formula we had already. So tan theta equals to m1 minus m2 by 1 plus m1 m2. Tan theta equals to m1 minus m2 by 1 plus m1 m2, where theta is the intersection angle between two straight lines, and m1 and m2 are the gradient or slopes for two given lines. Okay, got it? So you need to remember this formula. This is a very important one, right? Now we'll do quickly, we will find out the midpoint of internal section. That means if, as I said, if one point, this is one point P, this is one point in between point Q, this point is R, and the ratio between these two is m1 m2, and if is p1 x1 and r is x2 y2 and the coordinate of q is xy, then you know the x coordinate for q and y coordinate for q. The formula is x equals to m1 x2 plus m2 x1 by m1 plus m2, and y coordinate will be m1 y2 plus m2 y1 by m1 plus m2. That already I have shown you how to derive the formula also, right? Here the ratio is m1 is to m2, right? Now if q is the midpoint of this line segment, in that case m1 equals to m2, because m1 is to m2 equals to 1 is to 1. m1 is to m2 equals to 1 is to 1. If it is q is the middle point, that means m1 equals to m2. m1 equals to m2. In that case, what will be the value coordinate of x? This is replace m1 with m2 or m2 with m1. So that means m1 x1 plus m1 x2 plus m2 x1. So they are also m1 x1 by m1 plus m2, that means 2m1, right? That means m1 take common, m1 of x1 plus x2 by 2m1, that means x1 plus x2 by 2. Similarly, y also will be m1 y2 plus m1 y1 by 2m1, that is equals to ultimately y1 plus y2 by 2. So this is what for if it is the midpoint, in that case m1 equals to m2, that means x will be x equals to x1 plus x2 by 2 and y equals to y1 plus y2 by 2. That you need to remember. This is what the formula if it is bisected the line segment. Okay. One more thing just for your knowledge, I am telling you, if two given straight lines, if they are intersecting each other, in that case how to find out the intersection point, right? What is the intersection point of two straight lines, right? How to find out? So let's say there is one line is given 2x plus 3y plus 7 equals to 0. Another line is given minus 5x plus 6y plus 2 equals to 0. I'm just giving you the concept. I will not do the not solve the entire problem, but I will show you how to do and why to do, right? Let's say the intersection point of two lines, the point is P, it is x1, y1. The coordinate is x1, y1. That means if the intersection point is x1, y1, that means that point will lie on both of these lines. You know that, right? So in that case, if this is the point lying on both of these straight lines, that means it will satisfy both of these equations. That means 2x1 plus 3y1 plus 7 equals to 0. It is one equation. This is equation number 1. Another equation is minus 5x1 plus 6y1, because it satisfies this equation too. Y1 plus 2 equals to 0. Now you have two equations with a variable x1, y1. So there are two variables and there are two equations. So you can easily solve these two equations, and you can find out the solution both for x1 and y1, the value you can find out. So whichever is the value of x1, y1, that is the intersection point. So given two straight lines, or it may not be asked directly to find out the intersection point, but in a problem, the way the problem will be given, you have to find out the intersection point of two straight lines, right? So in that case, you need to find out the intersection point in this way. Okay, now I am coming to examples. Few of the examples I will do just to cover all the points, right? So now I am covering that. So what is the problem first? Find the ratio in which the join of 2, 4 and 10, 12 is divided by the line x equals to 7. It's saying there are 2 points 2, 4 and 10, 12, and the adjoining line of these 2 points is divided by the line x equals to 7. So equation of the line is x equals to 7. That means the adjoining line of 2, 4 and 10, 12, on that the point P, let's say, so let's say you don't need to draw any diagram while you solve the problem. Just for your understanding, I am just doing it for one problem. So let's say there is one line P whose coordinates is 2, 4 and Q whose coordinate is 10, 12. And there is one line which is x equals to 7, that is parallel to y axis, you know that, right? So it divide that section PQ line in a ratio m1 is to m2. Let's say this is m1 and this is m2, m1 is to m2, right? And this line, equation of this line is x equals to 7. If the equation of the line is x equals to 7, that means you don't know the y coordinate about it. So don't worry about it. So you are supposed to find out, what you are supposed to find out? You are supposed to find out m1 is to m2. What is the value? m1 is to m2. That is what you are supposed to find out. Given is coordinates of 2 points and x equals to, that means if, so for internal section, if it is divided in the ratio of m1 and m2 and the points are x1, y1, x2, y2, what is the formula? Formula is x equals to m1 x2 plus m2 x1 by m1 plus m2. Now here x is given, so in that case 7 or 7 equals to, that means if x equals to 7, this is the parallel line to y. That means this line is, here also x coordinate will be 7. X coordinate will be 7. Y coordinate I don't know, right? So 7, x is replaced by 7, then m1 you don't know, x2 means if it is m1, let's say 10 m1 plus m2 x1, that means 2 m2 by m1 plus m2, that means 10 m1 plus 2 m2 equals to 7 m1 plus 7 m2. That means 3 m1, if you solve it, 3 m1 equals to 5 m2, right? So therefore m1 is to m1 by m2 equals to 3 by 5. That means M1 is to M2 equals to 3 is to 5. Got it? So that is how, if let's say it is intersected by one line, this is y equals to 3. In that case, you will not use the formula of x, you will use the formula of y. You will take the y coordinates here. Y equals to m1 y2 plus m2 y1 by m1 plus m2, because you need to replace the value of any of these, or if the points are given x and y both, in that case any of those two you can take. So one of the value is needed to find out the ratio of m1 and m2, either x or y. If those both of those are given, then any of those you can utilize, and respective formula you need to use. Got it? Okay. So second problem, show that the points P, the coordinates of point P, A comma B plus C, coordinate of Q, B, C plus A, and coordinate of R, C, A plus B. So these are the coordinates of 3 points given. Now you need to prove that these 3 points are collinear. If you take the gradient of PQ and QR, so slope of PQ, the slope of PQ, adjoining line of PQ, right, and slope of QR, these two, if these two are equal, then these 3 points are collinear. So any 2 points, if you adjoining line, if you can find out the slope of those 2 points, then if these 2 slopes are equal, then these 3 points are collinear. So let's say for PQ, slope of PQ equals to, let's say m1, that is equals to y2 minus y1. All these things I have explained in my earlier video. Oh, sorry, this video class number is 5, this is not 4. So in my 4th class, so wherever I have told you about class number 3 to relate, actually those will be class number 4. So it is class number 5. So this is the 5th class or 5th video on coordinate geometry. Okay. So PQ equals to M1 equals to, so in the 4th class I have explained all these things already very clearly. So y2 minus y1, that means C plus A minus B plus C, y2 minus y1 by x2 minus x1 B minus A. That means it is C cancel, C minus C, that means A minus B by B minus A, that means minus of B minus A by B minus A, that is equals to minus 1. Slope of PQ, that is minus 1. Slope of PQ that is minus 1. Now we will find slope of QR. Let's say slope of QR, that is M2, that is equals to y2 minus y1, so A plus B minus of C plus A by C minus B, that is equals to A cancel A minus A, that means B minus C by C minus B. Similarly, minus of C minus B by C minus B, that is equals to minus 1. That means the slope of QR is also minus 1. That means this M1 and M2, these two are equal. So M1 equals to M2. That means these 3 points PQ are collinear. Got it? Interesting problem. In triangle ABC, point A coordinate is 3, 5, point B coordinate 7, 8, point C coordinate 1, minus 10. Find the equation of the median through A. Find the equation of the median. Mark it. Median through point A. Just draw the triangle simply. This is the triangle, let's say, right? This is point A, this is B, and this is C. Now A is 3, 5, B is 7, 8, and C is 1, minus 10. 1, minus 10. Okay, now median passing through a median. What is median? Median is the line from any of the vertex to its opposite side of a triangle is bisecting that side. So that means this line, let's say this line is, this point is D, where it is intersecting BC. So you need to find out the equation of AD. You need to find out equation of AD. Just break the problem some in steps. So if you need to find out that's how you should solve any problem. So if the equation you need to find out for AD, so if you look into my 4th class itself, what are the things you need to know to find out a equation of a straight line? Either 2 points, or 1 point, 1 slope, that is point slope form, or slope and the y-intercept, right? Here slope is not there, because notness you will not find out the slope. Here what you can do, you can find out. So 1 point is given, another slope is required, or another point is required, because if you know 2 points, you can find out the straight line passing through those 2 points. So let's say it is xy, x and y coordinate, and since it is median, so D is the midpoint of BC. So what is the formula to find out the midpoint? If it divide or bisect the segment of a line, that means x equals to x1 plus x2, means 7 plus 1 by 7 plus 1 by 2, that is 4. And what is the coordinate y? It is 8 minus 10, 8 plus minus 10, 8 plus minus 10 by 2, that means it is minus 1. So this point coordinate is 4 minus 1. 4 minus 1. Now, do I need to do anything else? You can find out the equation of AD, because you know 3, 5, you know. So only one thing, you need to break the problem from the last, so what it is asking to find out. It is asking to find out the equation of AD. What you need to know, in that case, you need to know the coordinate of D, what you don't know. So to find out the coordinate of D, what is given? It is given that for a straight line BC, this point is bisecting the or equally dividing this BC. That means it is 1:1. That means it is M1 is to M2 equals to 1:1. So in that case, the formula is x equals to x1 plus x2 by 2, and y is y1 plus y2 by 2. Now you are just replacing these two values of b and c and finding out the coordinate. Then you know how to do that. I am not solving the problem anymore. You can do that easily. So you will find out the slope, y2 minus y1 into x divided by x2 minus x1. Find out the slope of AD, right? And then you find out the equation y minus y1 equals to m into x minus x1. If you know the m value, then x1, y1, any of the value you can replace and find out the equation. Very simple, right? So I hope I have given few of the examples, and I have tried to clear your fundamental idea. And all all the topics I have covered today, these are very much important with respect to your questions in test, any kind of exam or test, right? So if you like this video, please click on the like button. If you would like to have this kind of video again and again, please subscribe my channel. Thank you very much.